Fellas, hello. We are back again with Clair Obscure Expedition 33, and the reason why it's fairly simple. So, I was playing the game and grinding a bit, and I just come across an article that the developers have just published on X that Expedition 33 is receiving a nerf. So basically, many people might have been familiar, maybe you're not familiar with it, but Mael is one of the most prominent damage dealer in the game. So there are plenty of builds around almost every character in game that has somehow potential to do great, potential for greatness, if you will, the damage, support or whatever. But Mael, with a weapon that I don't have right now, a weapon that puts you into virtual stance immediately, which you get from the Gestrel village, and a skill called SANDFALL. Now, if you are not late into the game, you probably don't know about this, but if you are, or you made use of this build, well, this is gonna get nerfed. Reason being is because, maybe you know, I haven't personally tested, I never went so far with Mael. I've always used Lune and other characters. But Mael has quickly become an absolute powerhouse, destroying enemies left and right. And one of the main builds was revolving around her wiping everybody clean turn 1 first hit. And I'm not talking 1-2 million damage that you usually see, or even 5 million damage. I'm talking in the hundreds of millions, and sometimes even in the billions with the right setup. With SANDFALL, this skill right here. This skill right here can hit so hard, that everybody just made a build and completely destroyed everything. The hardest boss in the game, one shot. 1 billion damage, 500 million damage. Hardly fair for everybody else. Verso has pretty solid damage, Lune has pretty solid damage, CL can escalate into endgame probably phenomenally, as so Monoko and everybody else. But her, with her SANDFALL skill, I think and now don't get me wrong, I might get it wrong here, because I haven't used her. So I would imagine that her skills involving 100% crit rate, probably, or very close to that, with passives that were very offensive, like the glass cannon that gives you extra damage, the immaculate that gives you extra damage, the first offensive that gives you extra damage on your first hit, the full strength, all of these pictos, passive pictos that give you a lot of damage on your first hit. Coupled those with your first strike, so whenever you start a fight, you're always the first one to hit with Mael. This is going to put you in a position of hitting very hard. And then when you add on top of that the virtual stance that gives you 200% extra damage, now all of a sudden Mael hits like an absolute truck. But this SANDFALL move apparently is able, under the right conditions, to absolutely demolish everything the game has to offer. And so they're nerfing it. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I honestly feel good. I feel like it's fair game. And if you took advantage of it and completely destroyed the game, you now go a new game plus and you just get to do it all over again, but this time legit, okay? I didn't went into Mael with a build first because everybody said that she's too powerful. And I said, you know what, I'm not gonna build her first, because this is what most people usually do in every game. They go with, oh, this is a powerhouse, this is what I'm using first. And then everything becomes too easy. So, you know, you want to maintain a certain balance, so to speak. But immediately didn't fascinate me the idea of having Mael hitting for billions. But so yeah, what do you think about it? Do you think it's fair game? because some people took advantage of it, and some people might have wanted to build her for this in the future, but this is not a thing, definitely, because very soon a nerf is coming, and I'm talking in terms of days, okay? It's absolutely justified. We don't even know, the article says that it doesn't even know how strong this nerf is going to be, but even cutting it down to 95% of what the usual power is could still be overpowered. Now, I don't think 95% is quite what it should be, but the goal is to make this build, or specifically this build with this skill, SANDFALL, to be more in line with the other weapons and the other playstyles and the other builds. We're doing like 10 millions? It's already a big deal, but when you have anywhere from hundreds to billions of damage, then, you know, it's just nuking everything. It's just too easy, and it defeats the purpose of the game. Although, I would imagine people, you know, kind of want to exhibit their findings and come up with best builds and stuff, which is fun to do, of course, especially in these types of games. But obviously you still want to have that sort of fantasy kind of oomph, you know, where you go into a place and there's a new boss and he completely hands your bum back to you. You really want that. You really enjoy when someone in a game is more powerful than you are, and then so you can come back later and take revenge. But this just made my L way too powerful. Just by a proper nuke that will destroy everything. Which, I mean, going with a story kind of makes sense, to be honest. But there's just, at some point, it's too much. So yeah, if you planned on doing Mael or doing builds on Mael, remember the nuke build with SANDFALL is gonna get nerfed very soon. Although it's quite rare to see these kinds of happenings in a single player game, I think it's fair game. It's fair game from SANDFALL, because this is going to ruin the experience you would have with some of the latest bosses in the game if you simply build this absolutely incredible nuke of a character. Such a tiny character and so much power. Where the hell does it come from, I wonder? Anyway, see you guys in the next one. You take care and don't build overpowered stuff. Let me do it for you, yeah? Because I don't get bored of it. Ciao.